Obviously it had been a while since we had won, so it was great to be back on the good side of things. Was really pleased with our players. Most importantly, their 8 days of practice and preparation that we had leading into the UT Martin game. I thought our defensive effort was very good. I loved the unselfishness that we played with at the offensive end of the floor with 22 assists on our 30 baskets. And, I thought we got great contributions from a lot of people. And looking forward to getting better this week as we prepare for a really, really good Jacksonville State team on Thursday.
Okay, well, I'll put it up for questions if you guys want to just chime in.
Matt, when you go, and not that it was all your fault with some postponements and so on, but when you have to go 32 days between wins, and when you guys are trying to find answers, was there maybe a little extra exhale from just everybody that it's like, all right, we finally got some good vibes to try to build upon?
Well, I hope it's not an exhale. I don't ever want winning to be a relief. I want it to be a celebration and a joyful experience for the hard work that's been put in. But what I do hope is that the players will take some confidence from winning a game, from playing a lot better, clearly at both ends of the floor, and hopefully try to build some momentum from that. We have the 2 games at home this weekend, and then we go into, I believe it's 8 games in 16 days. So 10 games in the next 23 days if we're fortunate to get to play them all. So there's a lot of opportunities out there on the table for us. But I was pleased, Jeff, with our practice from last Friday. Unfortunately, I had the cancellation Thursday, but from last Friday going into Saturday's game, I really thought we got a lot better, and I was anxious to see if that would carry over to the game floor on Saturday, and I thought there was definite improvement from our team.
With 48 hours perspective and being able to look at the film from Saturday, how has your perspective, if at all, changed on how Deontay played?
Oh, he was fantastic, I thought. I think he really set the tone for us with his ball pressure defensively. And then, honestly, Jeff, watching the film, I was even more impressed because he got on the offensive end of the floor, he got to our 3rd, 4th, and 5th options on different actions we like to run and score out of. And I just thought his understanding of the reads was really good. I loved his ability to get to the free throw line. I think he'll shoot a much higher percentage than he did on Saturday, but I thought that was important for us. And I said it after the game. I think all in all, we've been really fortunate to coach some really, really good point guards. And my number one takeaway through that experience over the years has been the top priority of that position is to make the players around you better. And I thought he certainly did that on Saturday.
In terms of minutes, I guess, and things seem to be changing a lot from a game-to-game deal right now. With Deontay didn't even play the prior 4 games before he gets to start there, and not to call any specific guy out, some minutes have dropped and so on. Is this sort of the every minute is being earned in practice, maybe more than usual? Is this you tinkering, just still trying to find the pieces that work? Is there any specific method to the madness?
I think a combination of everything you mentioned there, Jeff. I think the past 3 years, there's been some evolution of our rotation throughout the season, especially in our front court 2 or 3 years ago, I guess it was. But for the most part, we've kind of known who the 8 or 9 guys were going to be throughout the season. And, this year, combination of a variety of things. One, not having the same amount of prep time going into the season. Also keeping in mind that over half our roster did not play last year, despite the fact we have 6 very experienced players back. The other half did not play for us. So I think still trying to find the right combinations. And then I think with all the interruptions, we finally got a longer stretch there of practice time where I think some guys stepped forward and earned some opportunities. And I think took advantage of those on Saturday.
In terms of your bigs with KJ and Damon there, I know we always kind of joke about, boy, they're shooting such a high percentage. We need to get the ball to them more. And it's probably unrealistic to think that, if they're both taking 15 shots a game, they're still going to be shooting 80%. But is that a priority to get them more involved? Can it be a priority to be involved, or do you sort of like where they're at in terms of their production on a game-to-game basis right now?
No, I think we want to continue to get them as involved as we can. It works. It's twofold. One, we got to get the ball to them more. Two, they can't turn it over at the rate they've turned it over this season when the ball does go in there. But no, I think for us, we're always striving and trying to have that perfect mix of inside-outside balance. And, I obviously don't think we're there yet, but Damon and KJ are a huge part of what we want to try to do at the offensive end of the floor. Both were very efficient on Saturday. I thought KJ was a lot more aggressive in the post, getting his touches in the painted area versus 12 to 15 feet out on the floor. So I think both of them, I think KJ was 7 of 10 and Damon was 5 of 5. So I was very pleased with that. And then we shot the ball well from 3 against the zone, which we knew would be important going into the game. So I don't have a certain number of shots I want those guys getting. I just want us to have good balance inside and outside. And I want us to find a way to get a shot every trip down the court instead of turning it over.
Watching Tevin for the last couple of weeks, from the cheap seats, it looked like he was carrying a burden and pressing and just trying to make some stuff happen offensively, and it wasn't happening. Was that a fair assessment of how he was the last couple of weeks? And what did you see Saturday where he finally had to see the ball go in the basket repeatedly there, especially in the first half?
Yeah, he shot it extremely well in the first half, hitting the 4 threes there. I think you're right, Jeff. Tevin's a winner. He's a competitor. It's all he's ever done since he's been here. And, I think it's been tough on him. We have to remember, this is the guy who was the runner-up for Player of the Year in our league last year. He had an unbelievable sophomore season and hadn't been as efficient offensively so far this year. So I'm sure there has been some pressing on his end, but I haven't had to say much to him. I believe in him. He's scored over 1,000 points here. He'll score over 1,000 more. He'll probably end up being one of the top 5 scorers in the history of this great program. So hopefully he takes confidence from the way he shot the ball on Saturday and also how he impacted the game. He's averaging over 4 assists a game from the wing position, which is terrific. He's our best perimeter rebounder. He's our best perimeter defender. So he just does so many things to impact the game besides shoot the ball. But without question, we do need him to be efficient and shoot a high percentage.
Jacksonville State seems like they go to the wire with everybody, whether they're coming out on the good end or not. Got in the shootout with Belmont the other night. What do we expect from them rolling in on Thursday?
Well, that was the game of the year. It was an incredible game to watch on Saturday. Jacksonville State and Belmont, both teams were awesome, quite frankly. But I think they did a great job, Coach Harper and his staff, of recruiting in the spring under very difficult circumstances. And they got some talent. They are talented at every position. They have great size in their front court. They shoot the ball extremely well from 3. They're physical. I think they're a really, really good basketball team that we'll have to play very well on Thursday to have an opportunity to win.
Coach, this afternoon at 4 o'clock, Cameron Payne and Ja Morant get to face off against each other in Memphis on Martin Luther King Day. 70 years ago, African Americans weren't allowed to play NBA basketball. Is there a type of pride or a sense of cultural experience or happiness or joy in seeing two racers get to face each other on such an important holiday in a city where, the civil rights movement was so big during the late 50s and early 60s?
Well, Ed, we all know the significance of this day for our country. It's a historic day for our basketball program as well. Having two NBA lottery picks from Murray State facing off against each other today in Memphis on this important day in our nation's history is really special. I'm number one. I just so appreciative of both Cameron Payne and Ja Morant and their families, for what they mean to Murray State University and our basketball program, the tremendous impact they've made on our community and on our campus, the ambassadors they continue to be in impacting not only still Murray, Kentucky, but their hometowns and the communities they represent now, respectively with Memphis and Phoenix. So, yeah, it's a special day, Ed. So proud of both Cameron and Ja, and so thankful and appreciative of their great families and the impact they've made, selfishly, impact they've made on my life, and then as a program, what they've meant to and continue to mean to Murray State University.
So, Coach, last week you kind of did the mental part. Did you see more of the mental toughness this past week with your team? You said that was something you wanted to see, the mental aspect. Did you see that over the last week? I
did. I saw it, Jason, in practice. I thought we were much better there. I think, in any sport, but right now there's so much going on. When you're not playing well, you've got a losing streak going on. That's really when you find out what you're about, as a player and as a man. The easy thing to do is to sit around feeling sorry for yourself or find excuses or complain about this or that or blame it on someone else. But what we need to do is what we did the last 8 days heading into the Martin game, which is get back to work, stay focused on the process of getting better every day, try to build our team, keep improving the chemistry of our team, keep finding ways to improve our team so we can take advantage of all these great opportunities that we have still yet to come over the next 6 weeks. So I was very pleased with our players' response in practice, and I thought you saw that carry over to the game floor, excuse me.
What do you want to see? Momentum can be contagious. So what do you want to see carried over from practice from that win?
Well, I think confidence, belief, I think are important words that sometimes get undervalued. So I want to see continued growth there. I think we have to handle adversity. It's one thing that I was probably most pleased with watching the game. We went through a stretch there where we turned it over, I think 3 possessions in a row. Martin made a little run to get back in the game. Quite frankly, we folded in those situations over the last month. And we came out of that timeout and the lead went from 12 to 27 over the next 4.5 minutes. And so I was very pleased with that response after we called the timeout around the 8-minute mark. So, I think just staying focused on getting better. I mean, our first shot defense in the half court's been really good this year. We have to rebound the ball better defensively. We just gave up 11 offensive boards to one player in a single game. And then we've all discussed the negative impact of turnovers on your team, both offensively and defensively. We have to continue to focus to get better there.
And my last question, you kind of alluded to it, which is with what early second half, you were up by 3, and then you go on a run. And as you mentioned in previous games, it was the opponent was making a run. What was it about the timeout or something about the team that just a switch went off and you guys were able to separate?
Well, it starts at the defensive end of the floor. Both halves, we held them to 33% shooting and 20% from 3. Then I think we were able to turn some of those defensive stops into easy baskets in transition. And then I know it's probably oversimplifying the game, but in the first half, we scored 32 points. We had 10 turnovers. In the second half, until a turnover in the last few seconds, we had 5 turnovers. We scored 47 points. And I really think it's that simple. We got to make sure we get a shot at the basket every trip down the floor. Number one, that gives us a chance to score, obviously. Number two, it gives us a better chance to set our defense and not give up transition layups off turnovers.